Well, now for an inspirational guest that puts most of us to shame. Fred Judah McCarthy started writing about farming in grade 2, and he starts his day at 6 a.m. in the morning, checking on plants and chickens. And after school, he does it all over again. Now, Fred is our guest this morning to talk to us about his first love, which is farming. And of course, he's joined by his mother, Busi. Thank you for your time and good morning. Good morning, Fred.
Morning, Auntie Tumi and the viewers.
Listen, you look like such a successful farmer. I need to give you my CV. I'll be typing it out very soon, but I feel like you could teach me a thing or two about farming, and I appreciate you coming because I want to know, when did your love for farming actually begin?
My love of farming started when I was in grade 2. But that time we weren't really staying in the farm. We were staying in Joburg, and we used to take visits to the farm. And whenever I'm told to write a story about, about me in the farm, I'll write a story, and then until my parents saw that, oh, he loves farming,
right. Okay,
then we moved to the farm.
But what I'm looking at right now as well, besides your love for farming, is you driving a tractor. I mean, I started driving, I'll whisper it to you after the show when I started driving a car. But how did you learn to drive that, Fred?
It's my dad who taught me how to drive a tractor, yes.
That is so amazing. Mom, I mean, Fred is putting most of us to shame here. When did you first know as parents that you had to groom and nurture young Fred's love for farming?
Like he mentioned, he started in grade 2, even though we were staying in the city, but we had farms, so we'll pay visit to the farms. Strangely, he wanted to be an accountant because his dad is an accountant. Yeah. But he never wrote about that. But instead, whenever he's writing, he's asked to write a story about his holiday, he will write about his farm. Yeah. So eventually last year we relocated to the farm, and he really proved, like, when we go to the farm in the mornings, you ask for Fred, where is Fred? And he's already in the field. So his dad then last year started nurturing the love of farming, and him waking up in the morning and going to the field. He doesn't want anything in the morning but to go to the field.
And you were just telling me as well that he doesn't even need an alarm clock. He knows 6 a.m. he has to start, because he's so particular, right, Fred, with your time. You have to wake up early, go to the farm, otherwise it messes up the rest of your day, putting us all to shame who press the snooze button very easily. So Mom tells me that you're passionate about waking up, going into the farm, and that's important because it speaks to helping us learn how to grow our own food. So what's then the process of preparing the land before then you start planting?
Okay, so preparing the land, if it's a land that has not been used of planting anything, you can plow, then disc, so that the weeds, so that the soil is loose, and then the rotavator depends on what you are either planting, because, like, for instance, like carrots and all those that grow underground, they need a free soil, so for the rotavator to fatten up the soil, and then the fertilizer spreader is used for fertilizing, for spreading the soil so that it's spreaded equally, so, unlike using your hands and then it's not spreaded equally, and some parts have, some don't.
All right. Yes. That is just for preparing the land. So besides you knowing that, I know that you're also responsible for taking care of, you know, I understand the daily records of chicken activities and what is that all about? I mean, I used to see my grandmother having chickens in what we used to call a hawk growing up in Limpopo. But you manage, you know, chicken activities. What does that involve then?
Then, especially on the broiler side, they have vaccination program, which we have to follow daily, every day. So, like, we have a paper writing the dead chickens, because some die, you put in 1,000, and you're not writing anything. You don't know how many died, you don't know what happened, you don't know when to give them the vaccination, and you also don't know how old they are. So writing the chickens, the dead chickens, and making sure you give them the correct medication at the right time and start the correct feed at the right time.
So Dad relies on you with that. He trusts you with that responsibility.
Yes.
Mom, I used to chase the chickens around. My grandmother used to scream at us for, scaring the chickens out of the hoko back in Limpopo. How important is it then, do you think, it is for young children to know the skill of farming, the importance of growing your own vegetables, and basically being, next farmers, up-and-coming farmers like Fred?
It is actually very important, and even us as parents, we were taken by surprise that he has so much passion for farming, because it's a process that a child needs to know where your chicken come from, the one that is not just comes from the fridge or from a retail store.
Yeah.
The process of growing the chicken, that is what he's doing, and that is what he's learning.
That's amazing.
And that is what he's teaching his peers as well.
That is so beautiful. I have to let you go, unfortunately. I wish we had more time, but just lastly, let us in on your secret. When Dad asked you what you wanted for your birthday, what did you ask Dad to get you?
I asked for a piece of land to plant my cabbages.
Thank you so much for joining us. You've put me to shame. I mean, I would have asked for a toy or a doll, but you're asking for land. Thank you so much for teaching us at a young age to be farmers, and that we can learn the skill at 11. Thank you, Mom. This is Vusi for joining us. Thank you so much, Fred, for joining us.